Before break, you all took some notes on how to draw circuits with some symbols, and then you tried some practice problems, A, B, C, and D. Here's A and B. So if you don't have those out already, please get those out because you're going to be referring to those and kind of checking through our work. So the whole point of those symbols is basically if you're trying to represent a circuit, you don't have to actually be a good drawer. You don't have to draw a battery. You don't have to draw a light bulb. You're going to draw simplified symbols that represent that battery and represent that light bulb, okay? Another thing when we're drawing circuits is we typically draw them as like a square, in a square shape, and usually you see the battery on the left side, okay? So if I was going to try this one, A here, okay, I'm going to start with my battery, and the battery symbol is a long line, a short line, a long line, a short line, okay? We put a plus by the long line, a minus by the short line. Okay, so this represents my battery here. I'm going to write in 12V for 12 volts because that's the energy, the power supply of my battery, okay? And then I'm going to look at this plus side here because I don't know if you remember, but with batteries, we always say the electrons go out the plus and come back in the minus. So our electricity is going to go this way, okay? So next thing we have here is a wire. So we're going to draw a wire. But again, we draw circuits as like a square shape. So we're going to draw a wire with it like coming up and making the corner. So we kind of start the top side of our box here. And next I'm going to draw a light bulb symbol, okay? So I'm going to draw a little circle with this little loop in there. That's a light bulb symbol. Okay, and how many ohms is that? Well, it says 20, so I'm going to label it as 20. And then next I see a wire going back to the battery here. So now I'm just going to complete the rest of my box, okay? And that is one way you could draw circuit A. Another way you could draw circuit A would be to do my 12 volts and to do my wire, and then I could put my light bulb here. Okay. Another way you could do circuit A is I could draw my wire and put my light bulb down here. These all essentially say the same. It says you got a 12 volt light bulb, you got a 12 volt battery, a wire, a 20, oh that should say 12, no, it should say 20. A 20 ohm light bulb. Okay, let's just fix this. All these say the same thing. You got a battery, some wire, a light bulb back, and then a wire back to the battery, right? That's all it says. So it does not matter which side of the box you put this on, okay, if that makes sense. It could be top, right, bottom, doesn't matter. They would all be perfectly acceptable answers, okay? So either of these three would be perfectly fine for drawing circuit A. So let's look at circuit B here. Next, we're going to start with our battery. Again, that typically goes on the left-hand side, okay? So I'm going to put my battery plus minus. Here, my battery is 6 volts, so I'm going to write in a 6V there. And then what do I have next? I have a wire, and then I go to a 15 ohm light bulb. So wire, I label it, and then I have wire, and then a 12 ohm. So wire, 12 ohms. And then I have a wire, and then I go to an 18 ohm light bulb. And then I have a wire back to my battery. Okay, so that's one way to draw that circuit. Okay, another way, so this thing keeps focusing. Another way I could draw that is I could go like this. Whoopsies. Okay, I could put these two over here and this one over here. Again, it doesn't matter because I have battery, wire, light bulb, wire, light bulb, wire, light bulb, wire, back to the battery. I could put all these three things on the top. I could put them all on the side. I could put them all on the bottom. It doesn't matter as long as you have battery, wire, light bulb, wire, light bulb, wire, light bulb, wire, battery. Okay? It doesn't matter what side of the square it goes on. Okay? So there's lots of different possibilities for this one. For C here. Okay, let's look at that. We draw that. Okay, I'm going to have my battery. 6 volts. Okay, and then I have a wire. Ooh, and then I have a switch. And so the way we draw that is like that. Okay, we got a switch here. And then we have a wire. And then we're going to connect it to a light bulb. And then we've got a wire back to the battery. Again, this switch could be over here on the right side, next, just a little bit separated from this light bulb. This switch could be on the right side and the light bulb could be on the bottom. They could both be on the bottom. It does not matter what side of the square you put things on, as long as you have the sequence of battery, wire, switch, wire, light bulb, wire. Okay, that's all you need. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. I'm going to show you one more. This is not one that you did for your homework at all, okay, but here's one. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing here. All right, so let's start with my battery. Plus, minus, okay, and it's 12 volts. So I have a wire to a light bulb. That's 15. Okay, and then I have a wire to this thing. This thing is a resistor, okay? And basically resistors just, what do? They resist. They help slow things down. Batteries slow down electricity. Sometimes if you get electricity flowing too fast in a circuit, it can cause stuff to burn out, okay? We can get sparks, or like your light bulb can just get totally zapped. So sometimes we might want to slow down the electricity, so there might be an additional resistor in there. So the way I would draw that, if you look back at your notes, you should see it's like a little like zigzaggy line. So I've got a wire connected to a resistor, and then a wire back to the battery. Okay, so that is a way that I could draw this. That little zigzag is a resistor sign. Okay, so that's how you draw circuits. If yours looked like that, great. If they didn't, that's okay. Now you know, okay, kind of what you're supposed to do with that. The next thing I want to do is I want to go back here to circuit A. Okay, that was right up here. And I want to figure out how much current was running through this circuit. Okay, I'm going to zoom in real close here. How much current was running through my circuit? Well, I only have one equation that we've learned so far with electricity, and you practiced it before. V equals IR. Voltage is equal to, this is the tricky part, is I is current times resistance. Well, do we have a voltage here? Yeah, we do. It's 12. Okay? We're trying to figure out what current is, but our resistance is 20 ohms. Okay? So what I'm going to do is just in my calculator, right, I'll divide both sides by 20. And so my current's going to be equal to 12 divided by 20. And so if I do that on my calculator, I get 0.6. Okay, so the current flowing through this circuit right here is 0.6 amps. All right, great. Let's go down here to C. Let's assume my switch is closed so that the current is a closed loop, or so that the circuit is a closed loop. What's the current here? Well, we're going to use V equals IR, Ohm's law. My voltage, what's my battery? 6. And I don't know my current. What's my resistance? 12. So I'm going to divide both sides by 12. So 6 divided by 12 is 0.5. Okay, so that's 0.5 amps. Great, cool. Let's go back to B here, circuit B, where I had the 3 light bulbs. What's my current here? Ooh. Well, this might freak you out because you got 3 light bulbs. Well, as it turns out, look, ohms, ohms, ohms. So all we have to do is add these together. So if I do 15 plus 12 plus 18, okay, and I add those together, I end up getting 45 ohms. So there's 45 ohms of resistance. And in fact, I can redraw this as what's called a simplified circuit. So here's my battery. And I can redraw this with like one monster light bulb with 45 ohms, because essentially that's what's happening, right? We end up having 45 ohms of resistance due to light bulbs. So I can draw that as a simplified circuit by adding all my light bulbs together. Okay, so now if I want to know the current coming from here, again, I use Ohm's law, V equals IR. 6 equals I times 45, right? Divide both sides by 45. And so you end up getting 0.13. Okay, cool. Lastly, let's go down to this one that I looked at that I showed you brand new with a resistor in there. Okay, down here. What if I want to calculate the resistance there? Well, I've got a light bulb and a resistor. Okay, I can't redraw this as a simplified circuit because what symbol would I pick, a light bulb or resistor? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. They're both providing resistance. But basically, if I do 15 plus 18, okay, it ends up getting me 33. So I end up having 33 ohms of resistance. And so I can just plug that into my V equals IR. Okay, so my volts are 12. My resistance is 33. Divide both sides by 33. And when you do that, you get about 0.36. 0.36 amps. So that is kind of the next chunk that we're learning. We are learning the proper way how to draw a circuit diagram using the symbols that you copied down, okay? We learned how it doesn't matter what side of the square things go on as long as you have the sequence right. We learned how if you have several of the same symbols in one drawing, that you can kind of combine them to make one like overall simplified circuit. And we learned how to use Ohm's law, V equals IR, to solve. Now in this case, we all solved for current. But if you were given current and resistance, you could solve for the battery voltage or something else, right? Or if you were given the voltage and the current, you could solve for the light bulb's resistance, if that makes sense, okay? So those are some things that we've learned about and talked about. And one last thing, I know in your notes there was a symbol for batteries and a symbol for LEDs. I'm sorry, light bulbs and LEDs. For right now, assume everything you're seeing is a light bulb, and assume you're not given any LEDs unless specified, okay? So just use that light bulb symbol. And this should help you do the circuits practice 1, that is the rest of your assignment for this week.